And I'm joined by Young Americans for Liberty analyst Kristin Tate. Kristin, I know you're not a big fan of all this government money printing, but something's going to be printed. It's going to be between $1 trillion and $3 trillion. So that being said, where should it go?
Well, a smart relief package would provide temporary assistance to struggling Americans while also providing strong incentives for families and businesses to safely get back to work, especially since COVID hospitalizations appear to be down in many parts of the country. But this HEALS Act appears like it'll just be another $1 trillion spending bill that tries to prop up the economy with endless government money. The Republicans and the Democrats, they've agreed to extend the PPP payments and direct payments to American families. What they are disagreeing on is whether or not to extend the federal unemployment, and also whether or not to bail out debt-ridden states and cities, which, you know, a lot of these places were in trouble long before COVID. But Charles, a lot of Americans are just asking themselves, where does this all end? I mean, when do we get back to some version of normal? It seems like a lot of people in D.C. have no interest in getting us back to normal. I mean, the left wants to keep schools shut down for months on end. The left wants to keep churches and businesses shut down. I mean, they want to keep paying Americans $600 a week not to work until April. If these are the people we're putting in charge of getting the country back up and running, I don't have a lot of hope.
It does feel that a lot of these states and municipalities are okay, you know, listen, it's a delicate situation, we know that, but, you know, there were so many articles just yesterday about New York City. And how many small businesses are permanently out of business. We're talking 520,000 people out of jobs. Business is gone forever. And you know, they're talked up as, hey, they handled this smartly. I don't think so. Governor Cuomo's made it more difficult for these businesses to do business. And this is what bothers me, is that they're deliberately hurting businesses and asking for federal help at the same time to keep that going. It's a vicious negative cycle. So the longer they keep this going and they're fed money to do it, the more permanent damage we're seeing economically.
It's so sad what's happening to our nation's great cities. When this is all over, New York City will have lost permanently so many of its beloved local businesses and restaurants. Why would anybody start a business in New York City today? Bill de Blasio was saying earlier this week that indoor dining probably won't be allowed until next summer. I mean, it's ridiculous. What's really insidious, though, is there are politics at play here where the Democrats seem to want to just continue to keep everything shut down because they want the economy to stay in a state of recession until the election. That's what a lot of this is about. It's not about the health of Americans. And if Republicans don't stand up and start fighting back and start promoting policies that will allow the country to reopen, we could be looking at a situation where Nancy Pelosi controls the House, Chuck Schumer controls the Senate, and Biden controls the White House. If they get rid of the filibuster, the left could then remake the country in a lot of ways many people in the public probably can't yet comprehend.
Yeah, I hate the notion that anyone would deliberately want with those things that you say, but it's harder and harder for me to disagree with that statement as well. Kristin, thank you very much.
Thank you, Charles.
Well, folks, car makers